Are you considering changing your accounting software? Are you thinking of getting an accounting software? Maybe you've just been doing your small business finances on maybe an Excel spreadsheet, or maybe just looking at your bank account on a regular basis. Whatever it is, if you are interested in QuickBooks, you're researching, you're trying to decide which one is right for you, this video is all about QuickBooks. I'm going to reveal to you what I feel about QuickBooks and what I think you guys should know before you make the investment of getting started with an accounting software. All right, well, welcome back to the Clara CFO Group channel. Thank you so much for all you who have been subscribed to the channel, who are here. Thank you, welcome, good to see you. Good also to see all the new people who maybe found this video for the first time. If that's you, would you go ahead and click the little subscribe button? If you have a small business, this channel is all about helping you with your small business finances. And that's one reason why we're talking today about accounting software. So you've probably heard of QuickBooks. If you are in business anywhere, you've probably heard of QuickBooks. Well, especially in the United States. QuickBooks is the biggest accounting software for small businesses, and it's got the largest market share, really. So between QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online, it is kind of the biggest deal in the small business accounting space. So today we're going to talk about the truth about QuickBooks and how I feel about it. And this is my opinion. I totally recognize that. This is my opinion. I'm not trying to tell you I'm like standing here as a representative of QuickBooks telling you what you want to hear. I am telling you my opinion as what I see with clients going through their own accounting struggles and trying to figure this out. So I hope this information is helpful to you as you decide for yourself. First thing I have to say is that with the CFO clients that we have, about 85 to 90% of our clients, as they're kind of rotating through, are on QuickBooks, and most of them are on QuickBooks Online. That is kind of the biggest push. QuickBooks is trying to push people into getting into the online subscriptions. And honestly, I like QuickBooks Online. A long time ago, it had a bad reputation, but now I like it. So I just wanted to say that. And the reason I like it is I like to be able to get on anywhere. I like to be able to pull and go and check out my clients' books, whether or not I'm in California or if I'm in Washington. If I'm traveling to the South to see family, I can go and I can look at financials, and I don't have to remote into somebody's desktop, ask them if they're online, do anything like that that makes it kind of difficult. A lot of that stuff is an option, but truthfully, I like the remote access of QuickBooks Online. Almost everywhere you can get online now, so that's becoming less and less of an issue. That was one of the big deals when QuickBooks really started to get going on this online thing. It was like, oh, well, we're not going to be able to have access to our books all the time. But I mean, truthfully now, we need to have a remote working environment, and QuickBooks Online is a good solution for that. The second thing is that QuickBooks really is kind of the biggest name in the industry. So because of that, there are a lot of integrations. Pretty much any software that is dealing with small businesses is going to be integrated to QuickBooks. That's going to be one of the biggest names. That's going to come first. That's part of the perks of being the largest, is that more and more small businesses will cater to you. So if you're looking at an integration for an inventory system, or maybe a CRM or an invoicing product or something like that, if QuickBooks is, or maybe like timekeeping or things, things that might be helpful, those types of things are going to integrate with QuickBooks. Now, that's not 100% all the time, but if they're going to be trying to integrate with an accounting software, they're probably going to go with QuickBooks first. The third thing I wanted to mention to you guys is that it is really preferred by most bookkeepers. QuickBooks Intuit, the product was made by accountants. It is geared towards accountants. So most bookkeepers and accountants really gravitate towards QuickBooks. Now, more and more people are getting comfortable with other platforms like Xero and FreshBooks and Wave. But I would have to say that the vast majority of bookkeepers in this country and accountants are going to be somewhat familiar with QuickBooks. If they haven't used it alongside these other things, they might just be using it exclusively. So if you are using QuickBooks, I mean, the truth is you're going to probably run into most bookkeepers who say, hey, yeah, I know QuickBooks. So if you have a QuickBooks account and you're looking for a bookkeeper, you're at an advantage already. You're going to be able to pick and choose from a much larger group of service providers because you use the software that they are a specialist in. And they do have Pro Advisor certifications, and they do try to when people go through their certifications and their training, they do try to give a level of training that's pretty helpful. So overall, I would say, they really try to cater towards those accountants and bookkeepers. I mean, there's other good things about QuickBooks. I like that on QuickBooks Online, you can go and easily fetch almost any bank statement that's out there. You can go and connect to your bank, pull all those transactions in. It totally helps save time when it comes to actually doing the detailed bookkeeping. So it really is helping automate a lot of the bookkeeping processes. It has rules. It has the reconciliation process is very easy in it. I would say overall for any small business that QuickBooks really is a pretty decent solution. Kind of in summary of all that, I have to say that is why I recommend almost everybody who asks me to consider QuickBooks. I'm going to get into some things I don't like about it, but truthfully, I like it the best. I've used Xero, I've used Wave, I've used FreshBooks a little bit, but mostly FreshBooks seems to be kind of gravitated towards like mostly just sole proprietors, and also like the creative space. I think it's a little more visually appealing than some of these other products. Sometimes Xero like just works with people's brains better, and so people are gravitating towards that for other reasons. Wave is free. That's kind of nice when you're kind of getting off the ground. However, I can say the usability of Wave is not as good as QuickBooks, especially all the integrations and things like that, and also the data that gets pulled with their fetch system. It's just not as good. And so I just have to be truthful about that. So that's why I recommend QuickBooks. I recommend QuickBooks Online. Sometimes if you've got a really big system and you maybe have an on-site accountant, a QuickBooks Enterprise or QuickBooks Desktop program might be the best for you. That's something you can look into and discuss with your team. But for most small businesses, QuickBooks Online is kind of a good solution. So that's really why I recommend it. That's why you'll always see it in the description box of these videos, because if you do want to get signed up for QuickBooks, I do have a offer there that gives you 50% off for a year, which is always nice because I'm going to mention that when it comes to the cons or the negatives and what I really feel about QuickBooks. But that's why you'll see that. That's why you'll see me talking about QuickBooks, because I really do believe in it. I see it in action on a day-to-day basis. I like it, and I think it's pretty user-friendly overall. I am too going to be on this channel doing more QuickBooks tutorials. Now, I have to say there's a lot of great QuickBooks tutorials out there. You can go and look at Hector Garcia's videos. He has tons, and they are so good and so detailed, and honestly way better than I will ever do when it comes to QuickBooks tutorials. I'm going to give you guys the basics. If you kind of want to go like, level 200, you want to go 2.0, 3.0, definitely check out Hector's videos. He's awesome. So he's got awesome videos and awesome content. So definitely check out Hector. So I want to say with all of that, it is time to talk about maybe what I don't like so much about QuickBooks. And this is when we get into the real nitty-gritty and the truth that I was talking about. All that was truth, but here's some more truth, and it's kind of the negative truth. So the number one complaint I hear about QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks in general is customer support. Customer support is not that great. Whenever I have to talk to customer support, and I'm an accountant, so I kind of have like a level up than the layperson who has a small account. Like I know I'm going to be probably sitting on the phone and might get transferred multiple times. So I could collect stories a mile long on how frustrating QuickBooks customer support can be. So that is a problem. And I almost hope that this video can be out there enough to call QuickBooks out to say, yeah, okay, this person really loves QuickBooks and I want to promote it, but I am telling people if you need customer service and if you're hoping and relying that their customer service is going to be out of the park so amazing, I'm just here to tell you it's not. It's not. And maybe it will be one day. They are, continually changing things. And I think it's been a complaint enough that maybe it will get better. But I just want you to know right away, don't rely on their customer service, okay? Like they're not going to be the ones to help you step by step through getting onboarded with the software. You're going to have to rely on their help. You're going to have to rely on their tutorials. And I would also say this is a great time to reach out to professionals and also YouTube videos of people who will help you through some of these problems. So definitely use these resources that we have. not just QuickBooks, but the broader sense to help you through and be successful using the product. And give some feedback. This video, let's just use it as feedback for QuickBooks. Hey guys, can you do better? Thanks. Do better, okay? We're believing in you. We're using the product. Do better. Okay. The second thing that it's not my favorite is really with the inventory. So inventory in QuickBooks is kind of a joke among accountants. We all kind of roll our eyes when we start talking about inventory in QuickBooks. It's not great. It's not a great inventory management system. If you have complex inventory, if you have something that you've got a lot of transactions, high volume, more than likely you're going to need something to add on to QuickBooks. So there's lots of inventory management systems out there. There's lots of solutions, and a lot of stuff will integrate with QuickBooks, kind of to the point I mentioned earlier, but it's not going to be your one-stop shop. You know, if you're looking and you're trying to decide and making an investment, know that you might have to also have some kind of add-on inventory system, because the inventory system in QuickBooks Online is pretty darn basic. The third thing I want to mention is that really, I kind of mentioned it briefly before, that the pro is that a lot of accountants use it, and that was kind of built for accountants and by accountants, but that can also be a con. If you're a small business owner and you're trying to DIY your bookkeeping, that could be a con for you. You could say, hey, actually, this doesn't work with my brain at all. It doesn't make sense, and I don't like it. So that's something to think about. I mean, for me, I feel like it's very logical. Transactions come in and you put them in a category. It's just like organizing, and then it spits out financial statements with reporting. And it's very easy to do reconciliations and things like that. However, you know, if that doesn't make sense to you and you want to look at it a different way, or even visually it needs to be presented in a different way, you might want to do some demos or tutorials of other products if you're planning to DIY this. But again, I highly recommend getting a bookkeeper as soon as you can in order to use your time and energy into something that's more high value and value producing for your business. So that's kind of a whole separate conversation, but I do want to just mention that in this video too. All right, and lastly, I want to say the thing that kind of drives me nuts about QuickBooks, besides the customer service issue, is that pricing continues to climb higher. It continues to charge forward, but you know, really when we look at it, it is a software. It is a software as a service. It is something that's constantly being improved, constantly being developed, constantly being kind of adding more features. And as things add more features, if you look at it from a CFO perspective, software development costs money. And when you have development costs and you have big plans for it, you need to make more revenue. So not only are they bringing up their market share, they're getting more and more people on the QuickBooks platform, they are also raising their prices at a fairly regular interval. So you will see price increases over time with something like QuickBooks Online. So I highly recommend trying to get the best deal that you can for QuickBooks if you're trying to do this, and just know that that's going to be a line item. That's going to be something in your P&L, a cost of doing business that you're going to have to absorb. So think about that when you're planning for your business, and just know, like, accounting is something you need to plan for. It's kind of like any software that you need in order to operate your business, you need to plan for it. So keep that in mind when you're budgeting a couple years, or forecasting your kind of what you think you need in the future. Think about the fact that QuickBooks could go up over time. All right. So remember, I do have the offer that gives you 50% off for the entire year. That may change. It might just be 30% off in the future. So just keep in mind, but I heard that might happen somewhere in October of 2021. Right now, it's 50% off for an entire year. So if you want that, it's in the description box below if you want to take advantage of it. But I feel like I just needed to tell you guys about that, because wherever we can save money, we will. I can't underestimate the value of having good accounting, to be able to pull up at a moment's notice, like, how profitable was I last month? How profitable am I so far this year? You can pull that up with a quick P&L when you have up-to-date bookkeeping. You can also just, look back and see, reports maybe on vendors. How much did I pay so-and-so this year? How much have I paid in utilities? All of that information will be available when you have proper accounting in place. So information is so valuable. So the cost of, $30 a month or $70 a month or whatever your QuickBooks subscription is, because there's different levels, it can be absolutely worthwhile. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to make this decision. All right. Well, overall, have to say there's good and bad of everything. And at the end of the day, QuickBooks is my choice to be able to, encourage most small business owners. There's every now and then where I would say, hey, it might not be worth it. And I would say maybe if you are making under $1,000 a month in your business, it doesn't make sense to spend $70 a month on accounting software. Even if you're, paying for their lowest priced subscription, still might not make sense. Maybe something like a nice Excel spreadsheet might make sense for you. There's lots of options for things like that on the internet that you can go and buy if you want to. You buy it one time and you use it going forward, or just, keep some detailed books for yourself. Kind of depends on the type of person that you are. So definitely think about overall scope in your business. Does it make sense to use something like QuickBooks Online? It probably does. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Let's go out and make great decisions about our accounting software and also what software we use in general. All right, well, thanks so much, you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.